It was about 5 seconds. I clicked it after you started counting, though. So you tried.
I tried.
Like the Simpsons, like the great Homer Simpson once said, kids, you tried your best and you failed miserably. The lesson is never try.
Never try.
I am Mo Lightning. He is Balls. Welcome to another edition of the Low Blow Live. What do you think about these videos? What do you think? I mean, we've been doing audio for so long. I can't imagine going back to them, to be honest with you.
I really can't either. The one thing I do have to, at some point I have to get a better background, but that'll come eventually.
You'll be moving eventually, so, there may be some interruptions. In the next few weeks as you kind of start, next few months, whatever it may be, when you start moving, and
we'll see. Should be okay, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm more, I guess, worried about internet not being ready to go right away. We may plan for internet to be ready and good to go, but the service providers always have a different mentality.
Dude, I work from home. The service providers can't do that.
I'll just make sure that's ready to go then as soon as it is.
I'm going to pay a
maybe you'll have a backdrop ready to go.
Yeah.
Got you guys here in AEW on TV. It's a good night.
Woo!
He's going to eventually get confused because I'm going to start doing some flips with my hands in my pockets. And you're going to join the Dark Order tonight. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a mask, though.
There you go. All right. You got a little creeper AJ Styles red hood thing going on there.
Yeah.
And not minus the red part, but never mind. Not enough comic geeks getting that one.
I got the reference.
Thank you. And so actually right before we took the airwaves here, or the stream waves, or whatever you want to call it, I got some good news for me at the radio station, which then in turn hopefully is good news for anybody who's a fan of the Amazon show The Boys.
Oh.
I am officially booked with Homelander.
Where are you interviewing Homelander at? Is it like radio, or is it like this?
It's going to be a radio one. I don't think he was offered a video interview. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And even if it was a video interview, I'm going to be honest with you. The last 3 that have supposed to be video interviews have changed to radio the day before.
Is it live, or are you recording it? Hey, Joe.
It'll be recorded, so this way I can go on demand. See, there's a secret right there. There's a secret.
I'm going to tell you, he likes to drop F-bombs a lot. So I was going to warn you to be recorded anyway.
Bring it on. I say bring it on. Now, here's a secret about the podcasts that I do and the interviews that I do with the Third String Morning Show.
Ooh,
I pre-record them, and then you only get a snippet of them on the air.
Well, yeah.
So maybe you get 5-6 minutes, but then the full 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever it may be, you got a podcast and get the rest of the topics.
I'm not going to lie to you. I knew that secret. I was really hoping for something else.
I know you know that secret, but a lot of other people don't. So
I was really hoping for something juicier about that.
Sorry. Sherry, happy to see Homelander going to be on the airwaves. And for anybody that watches these, I know we like to talk wrestling here, but if you like some of the other videos that we do from time to time, I did a taste test video earlier today, and if you want to see me be disgusted, you want to watch that video. Did you catch that at all there, Balls? I
have not caught it, but I have caught titles and then people's reaction going, nope, that's a no. He does not like this.
Oh, no. So that Brock's, that candy company that makes candy corn, they release early turkey dinner version. Exactly. There's 6 flavors in it, including turkey, sweet potato pie, green bean candy corns. It's horrible.
So it's different flavors. It's not all mixed onto one candy corn. It's different candy corn.
Well, can I get some? You can have the rest of the damn bag if you want.
He will ship it to you.
Yeah. No, I don't even want to spend money shipping it, though. I mean, that's somebody else will have to pay for the shipping and handling costs there.
Oh.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Daniela.
No, that's the face that I know.
The cranberry one, the cranberry sauce one is the only decent one.
Oh,
And I say
okay.
decent only because that can cross over to a candy better than, I don't know, turkey flavor. Brad wants to know who's Homelander. The horrible Superman on the TV show The Boys.
The Superman archetype on the
so the 7 on the show on Amazon, by the way, very vulgar, gritty, dark, hilarious,
it's
brutal.
a superhero show, but very adult, very
yeah. So the 7 are basically these corrupt superheroes. They're not all necessarily the same level of corruptness, but it's modeled after the Justice League. So you got a Superman ripoff, you got a Batman ripoff, Wonder Woman, so on and so forth. Well, this is the Superman, and he is a dick.
Yes. Although the Aquaman ripoff makes me laugh every time.
The Deep is great. The Deep is outstanding, especially because he is banished at one. Spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't watched season 1 by now, that's not my fault.
No.
But he is banished to basically a city that I used to work in.
I know.
And his big complaint is he's bored. And I'm like, yep, you're really there.
You have captured the essence of this city. I understand completely.
Brad, I mean, you probably can't watch it with kids, but you need to watch it. You need to watch it. If you like superhero shows that are gritty, dark, and with twists that you don't see coming, great show.
5 minutes into the first episode, I went, huh?
Yeah. And it just keeps going from there.
Yep.
It keeps going from there. I mean, you haven't watched The Umbrella Academy, have you? Or have you?
I've season 1. I've not seen season 2 yet.
What do you think is the better first season? The Boys or Umbrella Academy?
I think The Boys. I enjoyed The Boys, I think, more.
Who's got the better twists and turns?
I think The Boys, actually.
Okay. And that's where I was going to go with that, is I actually I love The Umbrella Academy, but that took a little while to really kind of come together. But The Boys hits the ground running, and great show. So there you go. We're just going to do a boys podcast from this point.
The Low Boys.
Yeah.
A guy with a name and both.
The Boys Blow just doesn't sound good.
No. God, no.
Yeah, we're going to work on that because I also worry about the type of audience we would get if we started a boys podcast. I don't think I want to do that.
No.
I don't think I want to do that.
The moment's gone. This is not happening. No.
So what we got going on is we do have WWE Payback is coming up this weekend. Wait, wasn't there just a pay-per-view? Why, yes, there was.
There was.
2 weeks in a row is an experiment.
Never happened before, right? Even during the brand split, I don't remember that being a thing. Maybe 2 weeks, sure, but never like the next week.
I want to say that there was at some point, or like Taboo Tuesday,
okay,
following Sunday, there was a bigger show or something. Yeah. I want to feel, and obviously we're not talking like TNA wrestling.
Yeah.
First started out their weekly pay-per-views. We're not talking that. We're talking WWE.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a little bit greater lengths as we go on. But 6 things on my mind, and nobody else is going to brag on us, so we got to brag on ourselves. So we got WA and the IWC, okay?
Okay.
So this one was pointed out to me. I don't go to the site all too often, but Chris Jericho has an official website. Web is Jericho, or Jericho is Web.
Okay.
Web is Jericho. And sure enough, we... a
Samsung HD photos.
Yeah, I mean, they got ads. I can't drop the ads, unfortunately. But he picked up, just today, last week's Table Talk with Jimmy Uso providing an update on the injury and whatnot. Right. So while Jericho himself doesn't post these news, he is,
involved-ish.
He is the king of the website there. So cool to see that Table Talk gets a little bit of love there. Anywhere we can get it, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wrestling Inc. normally is the site that really gives us the love. You check out Lords of Pain often.
Yeah.
These all, of course, for the most part, dirt sheets.
Yeah.
And then Pro Wrestling Sheet's been pretty good to us as well when it comes to mentions and articles like that. Please tell me about Raw Underground. Catching up, kind of frowned upon it. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm sure it comes up.
we will definitely get to that, Brad, so sit tight. We do have some NXT SummerSlam, and I just kind of figured like the week in general kind of coming back around on that. But the next thing on my mind would be, I have a name.
I was wondering if this was going to be in the WA and the IWC, okay?
I have a name.
You do have a name.
This is outstanding. So if you look at this here,
I'm not good at positioning myself around graphics.
Yeah. So if you look really closely, if you zoom in on a recent episode of Table Talk with Devon and Mo. Yeah. Now I feel bad for Lindsay because she's a host of the show too. But one step at a time, it's taken me God knows how many years to get my name in an article. And Balls knows this story. Balls knows why this is a big deal. And
I was hoping we were going to go there
too often, but we're always like got people coming and going, you know? Yeah. So it was actually 6 years ago. It's crazy to believe that this was 2014.
Yeah.
But a month after CM Punk abruptly left the WWE, and we never saw him again as a competitor in that company, I worked with AJ Lee. I hosted her panel down in New Orleans for Wizard World Comic Con.
It should have been Wizard World New Orleans, yeah.
Right. And so I worked her panel, 30 minutes, great conversation. It was the first time I'd ever met her, and we all know that she's a real sweetheart, but WWE, the representative, pulled me aside ahead of time and said, hey, we know people are going to ask about CM Punk, because I think they were dating. I don't think they were engaged yet. Maybe they were engaged, but they definitely weren't married yet. So I don't remember exactly, but they were together.
Yeah.
So the rep is like, hey, people are going to ask about CM Punk. Just go ahead and just diffuse it. I don't want her to have to answer all these questions. You as the host, the moderator, just take care of it. Okay. I mean, you've moderated many panels in the past with WWE stars. That's what you do. You got to be the bad guy from time to time. So long story short, I kick off the panel by saying, hey, let's not talk about he who shall not be named. Let's keep it on AJ and what she's doing.
Yeah.
Kind of a Harry Potter spoof and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the internet just assumes, the internet journalists, the wrestling journalists just assume they know what's going on. So it was reported that the moderator was told by WWE he cannot say CM Punk's name. And that went around, and I'm like, oh my God, my 15 minutes is here. Finally, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm the moderator.
Yeah. 6 years. And this has happened more than once. You get mentioned, and it's always the moderator or the host.
Yeah. Or Devon's co-host. You know, and like I think of the last time that happened. But now a guy with a name.
Yeah.
That's me this time. So anyway, again, WWE did not tell me I couldn't say CM Punk's name. I playfully used that approach to say, hey, everybody, pull your head out of your CM Punk ass. It's not going to happen. Let's talk about AJ.
I think you'll agree with me. Probably the most fun of doing that type of thing is using humor to diffuse that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I stole the line from you when I started doing WWE stuff, and it was, if you don't think we're talking about you, we're talking about you.
We are most certainly talking about you. That was one of my all-time favorite lines, and
it gets a laugh every time.
Every time, it never fails. And if anybody hasn't been to Comic Con, one of our panels that we've ever done with the wrestlers, sure enough, we would always. There would always be some bad apple in the bunch that would be like, hey, can I have a selfie? Hey, can I get a hug? Or can you do your finisher on me?
Or, hey, I'm super insidery and I'm going to use your real name.
There's that too.
Don't be a dick.
I didn't warn people against the real names because I loved watching the wrestlers tear them apart when they did. I'm like, if you're going to be that guy, I'm like, hey, Phil, CM Punk will rip you a new one. So
absolutely.
I'm going to sit back and enjoy. Like, yes, please. But we'd always do that spiel of like, all right, no personal requests,
Yeah.
no asking for hugs or kisses,
Yeah.
getting your website mentioned on video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Only
just.
we try to get our website mentioned on video. Come on.
I mean, well, we also had the name placards, so I mean, we could cheat. We could do that, but there'd always be those people. So we had to put the disclaimer in there of if you think we're not talking about you, we are most certainly talking to you. Yes.
And then my favorite part after that was anytime something similar to that would happen in the Q&A line, the crowd would go, "Ugh, dude, you mentioned this." They were totally talking about you.
Every time, and it was
the
so
crowd
good.
is my favorite secret weapon.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, if you can get the whole crowd to groan, then you're like, all right, I don't even need to be the bad guy at this point.
Nope.
Yeah. So for one article, I have a name.
You have a name. I'm so proud of you right now.
I thank you. We've been doing this like for 14, almost 15 years. We're like not even a month away from 15 years of this site, and I have a name now.
You have a name now, dude. So happy. So happy for you.
I think I just pulled something. All right, so next thing, making it Roman Reigns. Because his name is Reigns, but it's not spelled that. Never mind. God, people. So I always do a preview picture, when I say that, hey, we're going to have a live stream.
Gotcha.
So I chose Roman. He came back. He said, get wrecked or something, whatever a shirt said. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Wreck it.
Show up. Screw your wife. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. But that in itself, just posting the picture of Roman as our thumbnail image, got numerous people responding about Roman Reigns. And there, sure enough, the hate was present.
No, totally. I actually read this response earlier.
So Jeff mentioned it. Jared talking about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that watch this show, this stream, that are not Roman Reigns fans.
Shocking. Yeah.
It's very shocking. I know.
We're on the internet. It's a thing.
But we have to point out, with our Comic-Con background, he always did well.
Yeah.
Rob Schamberger, the WWE artist that is Friends of Wrestling Audio, talks about, still to the day, his most popular video he's ever done by a mile
long.
Reigns.
Yep.
So, and merch. He sells the merch. So we may not be gigantic fans. We got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is. He came back.
I would like to point out that everyone who commented that you shown is not the Roman Reigns demographic.
Oh, and who is the Roman demographic?
I'm going to go on a limb and say soccer moms.
You mean like once they took John Cena away, they're like, oh crap, we need to get somebody in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, people used to like Roman. And that's like when he was in the Shield, people loved Roman. Mm-hmm. He got that push, even in the Shield, I mean. And people liked him then.
Yeah.
And then I think headlining 4 straight WrestleManias, when he's not really quite ready for that gig, that soured people.
There's a fatigue that happened, absolutely.
So not having him on the show this year was refreshing. I felt bad for the reasons behind it, of course.
Yeah.
But he was going to be in a championship picture again. So makes you wonder. And we would have never gotten the Funhouse match. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. But he's back. Do you think he was heel? Do you think he turned heel when he came back?
I don't think he's heel. I think he was trying to be edgy.
Okay.
And because I remember texting you when this happened, and I'm going, he just attacked everyone for really no reason. So, I mean, it got a reaction.
Yeah.
It got people to cheer him.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think some of that was also going to be just, hey, Roman's back. So people are going to be happy about that, some people. And then other people just the shock of it that, hey, he's back.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was heel. I mean, by that mentality, because he attacked other stars, I guess Stone Cold was a heel his whole career then.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he attacked The Fiend. The Fiend's a heel. But Strowman also was having heel tendencies towards right around then too. So Roman might still be the most face person in that match. So
already in the title picture. You know, he never lost it. So, you know, it's all right. We'll talk about him and Payback and our predictions here in a little bit. But he's back. A lot of people noticed his teeth.
Yeah, apparently. I did not notice right away. I'm like, I don't care. Like,
I mean, I did, but I'm like, okay. I also noticed how in phenomenal shape he was.
I was going to say, to me, he looked great. I was like, all right. He looks
now,
like
let me ask you this. Is he the leader of Retribution?
No.
I mean, he showed up in a shirt that says show up, get wrecked or whatever. And that's exactly what Retribution does. In all black, they show up, wreck something, then they leave.
I mean, that would explain why Retribution didn't show up at SummerSlam.
Or I kind of hope it's Wade Barrett that's in charge of Retribution.
You just want him to host 3 groups in a row.
Third faction's a charm, man. Third faction's a charm. It's got to work out for him somewhere. But good to see him back. NXT SummerSlam is this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. We're not even a week removed, and there's so much I don't remember about both shows.
I'm not going to lie to you. I wrote notes down. Right as we were starting, and I'm going, okay, it was NXT 30.
Yeah.
Was it big enough for a 30th anniversary show?
No. Great set. I like the set with the fire and the pyro, but I don't think Keith Lee and Karrion Kross was the headlining moment that it should have been, even with the new champion.
The match to me was underwhelming, and you find out that Karrion separated his shoulder at some point during the match, and that's where it kind of clicks, and you go, all right, maybe that's why it didn't fire on all cylinders.
Right.
But, you know, Keith Lee, Adam Cole was awesome. Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, another big man.
Right.
Like, you get used to certain things, and then you got Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, and it's just like, all right, it was good. It wasn't what I expected, but all right.
My favorite match, though, all weekend long was the Pat McAfee Adam Cole baby match. That if you have not watched it, but you have the WWE Network, go back and enjoy it. You will be impressed with how well everybody looked.
Yeah, no, everyone looks great in that match. I was shocked.
and I even told you, like, it's one of those that it's either going to be a disaster or we should trust the process and realize that, you know, McAfee had been in the system and around these people enough to know. Yeah. So I had faith it'd be good. I didn't expect it to be great, and I would actually say it was great.
It was very good. It was very, very good.
SummerSlam, I went perfect score. I did not get a single one wrong. No, actually, I think you did better than I did. But, you know, Asuka, the new Raw champion. Yeah. So, you know, Sasha was the one that lost it. And what was the other? There was like a multi-man match that you called. I don't remember.
Something like that.
Feels so long ago.
It's like
so long ago.
Down too.
The Fiend's champion again, but maybe only for a cup of coffee. We'll talk about that.
Oh, man.
But moving on, 2020's gone too far. All right,
but
pandemic, balls moving, murder hornets, riots, race wars. I mean, like, the list goes on and on and on. And if none of that was enough.
Whoa. Is Pro Wrestling Illustrated drunk?
Apparently. They need to leave the house is what they need to do. Number 1 this year, Jon Moxley. And I'm not a huge Jon Moxley fan, but the guy's talented, the guy's popular. I'm not going to deny any of that.
No, not at all.
The PWI, for 30 years, this is the 30th anniversary, for 30 years, will typically base on in-ring ability. Like, when we would do the top 50 countdown, when we did that, we stopped doing that within the last year. But when we did do that, it was everything. It was wrestling, promos, crowd reaction, the company, you know. If you're somehow bigger than WWE stars and you're in an indie promotion, that's huge.
Yeah.
The best wrestler? This guy?
2020's
2020's gone too far.
I mean, I'm going to go on a limb and say that his wife has made more news than he has.
I mean, earlier this year with like the death matches or whatnot.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
He's AEW. He's champion there. He's IGWPQT champion. I mean, he's a cutie champion. But the best wrestler though is.
I would have felt comfortable if you would have told me Moxley was top 5.
Okay, all right.
I would have been all right.
All right,
I get that.
all right.
The top 1.
Yeah.
I mean. To be honest, this is because most of Japan got shut down and hasn't competed, right? That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, I know they got to do whatever they got to do to, create buzz, talk. Maybe the sales are down, so they thought this would like suck up to people. I don't know. Be like, look, John Moxley. Oh my God, AEW. I don't know.
AEW.
Oh my God. God damn it, 2020. 2020, you disgust me.
It's only August.
Yeah. WWE Terror Dome. I know, Thunderdome. But T and I used to have the Terror Dome, and we loved saying that name.
It was.
We loved saying that name. What do you think? We're a week into it now. Between all the shows, well, not NXT, but all the WWE shows, the main shows, the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think it's actually, like, it does bring something back. Like, I like that. I was worried originally that everyone was going to be muted and you wouldn't be able to hear anything.
Right.
You hear people, chant and applaud and all that stuff. And real-time reaction is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people that are who get chosen for it need to not be dicks. But
I got chosen. It's my God-given right.
Yeah, apparently, like, you have to fill out like 17 forms to be on there. So if you're being a dick, they know. And they'll find you. Like,
you mean if you're wearing KKK attire on camera, like that douche?
That would be the most dickish, yes.
I mean, a lot of Benoit stuff on there. Yeah. Okay, all right. And a lot of people have been dressing up as characters that apparently WWE hasn't been a big fan of.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but that makes me laugh.
So one guy for one match was dressed up, I think, as Hulk Hogan. Maybe it was Macho Man, but some classic star.
Yeah.
But he was like right in the first row. And apparently they moved him right away because they didn't want that distraction, I guess.
But I like it. I actually think NXT 30 could have benefited from being in the Terror Thunderdome.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know NXT had some real fans there and not just performers in the crowd. Mm-hmm. But that NXT crowd does not know how to start a chant. No,
they don't.
I forgot what chant it was Saturday night. They tried one chant that was horrible. I'm like, oh my God, the real fans would have just torn you apart.
That'd be awesome.
They would not have supported such a crappy thing. But I like it. I agree. I think it's added a lot to the product.
No, it has. It's been great. I'm excited Drew McIntyre got to be a champion in front of someone.
Yeah. Braun really didn't, but man.
Yeah.
For like 5-10 minutes he was, and then he lost the belt. So
let's be honest, he was probably never supposed to be champion if Roman wasn't gone. So
and the whole Goldberg thing, and
yeah.
All right. So last thing I got, Brock in his glory.
Yeah.
Instead of Bask in his glory, Brock. A lot of people complain about the music, and once you get past of the NXT part of the theme song before it goes into the new theme. Yeah. It sounds like a generic Brock Lesnar song. Seriously, go back and listen to his theme. It's like when you try to order something off of Amazon, but you want the same thing on Wish because it's cheaper. It's the Wish version of Brock Lesnar's theme.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. I'll be honest. When I saw the title, I thought it was going to be in the article about how Brock Lesnar makes WWE $500,000 on YouTube.
No, I hadn't even read that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Like they paid their rent for the stadium that the Thunderdome is set up in with Brock Lesnar YouTube money because it was like, yeah. So, but
Brock's got value. Well done.
That's the whole article was about. They were like, it costs Brock Lesnar makes them more money on YouTube than it costs for them to rent that stadium. So Keith Lee, the music. I love that Keith has already responded, and apparently before Keith's response, the issue, I guess, is whoever produced a lot of these theme songs is now on the outs with WWE. So when the
CFO, money sign, whatever.
Yeah. So when they get the chance to, change their theme, they're doing so. But Keith Lee responded with like, "Let me handle it.
Mm-hmm. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Let me handle it."
And like they didn't like his attire because he had like the shorts on rather than the wrestling tights.
Yeah. He did look. It did come across like a Kevin Owens attire.
I agree with that.
Like the tank top and the almost like it wasn't the basketball shorts, but it could have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
one appearance, the match didn't even really happen.
Yeah.
The theme, I wasn't a big fan of his NXT theme, but at least it stood out and you knew who it was. Once you get past the bask in his glory part of the song, the Wish version of Brock Lesnar's entrance theme, it was very forgettable. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't agree with getting worked up and outraged over it, but disappointment set in for me as well. Yes. I
enjoyed his debut, and I thought, he put him with Orton. That's like unexpected, crazy. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. Do you remember Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre being friends? Like, did they even show up at NXT together at the same tenure?
I love that in the last 3 weeks, they've really pushed that agenda that they're really good friends.
Like, you're being like generous at 3 weeks. I'm like, Raw is the first time I remember it being mentioned. They're like, my friend Keith Lee, my buddy Drew McIntyre, I just didn't expect him to. I'm like,
I remember they did. They showed like a training thing 2 or 3 weeks ago with the two of them working out together, and then they posed for somebody afterwards, both with their belts. So they at least did something in August, the beginning of August, with these guys.
Man, that's more than I remembered. So
yeah, no, just because I'm like, okay. All right, maybe they're setting up for a feud, and then they're like, "Oh, they're friends." At least Michael Cole, to my knowledge, never called them best friends.
No, they're probably not best friends yet.
Not yet. Not until they become a tag team.
No, that'll happen.
And then they'll be best friends.
Yeah, they're gonna go after the Hurt Business, probably.
Yeah. So that's right there. What's going on with Payback coming up? Do we get more Retribution?
I don't know. I think the way Retribution is going is just interesting in a bad way, truly, because at this they didn't show up at SummerSlam, and you'd think it would be like the marquee event for them to show up at. They couldn't get in. Whatever.
Let me also point out that Otis is a dumbass.
All right.
Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard to remember that he's actually the Money in the Bank holder. But when Roman came out and decimated Braun and The Fiend, Otis should have wormed his way out there.
Yes.
And be like, I got the girl, she's still in the company, and I got the gold.
Oh, man. No, that would have been great. And then Otis would have immediately lost to Roman Reigns at Payback.
He's a dummy.
He is. It's true.
Now, he still could after this week, if all three men exhaust each other, but he won't.
He won't.
Or if he does, he'll screw it up somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Otis will not be your new champion coming out of Payback.
Early prediction. Just spoilers.
Laura, it's too late for the Roman Reigns talk. Well, the majority of the Roman Reigns talk.
It'll happen again.
She's going to be so disappointed. We're talking about how good looking he was and everything.
That's true.
She's going to have to restart the whole show now. Restart the whole thing. So 4 matches announced for the show. I'm sure SmackDown, we're doing this on a Thursday night. I'm sure SmackDown will add some crappy matches we don't care about.
I don't know. I feel like it's maybe it isn't SmackDown heavy. I was thinking it was, but
SmackDown, Raw. I mean, it actually kind of looks like it's Raw heavy right now.
I was thinking the tag match is Raw and not SmackDown. So
yeah, it's since they can float shows.
Yeah.
But we'll start since we're just talking about Keith Lee. He's taking on Randy Orton in what will be a great main roster debut for Keith Lee, regardless of how the match ends. It's a good way to debut. for example, it worked out for Kevin Owens, who got to go toe-to-toe with John Cena right away.
Yes.
Kevin Owens even beat John Cena cleanly in that first match. Do you think Keith Lee could do the same with Orton?
I think he can. I don't know what you do. Randy Orton already lost to Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Having him lose a second time to a relative unknown to the main roster audience of Keith Lee,
mm-hmm.
I can't imagine. It's like you're going with Orton's trajectory and then you're suddenly diving it, and I don't know why.
Okay.
And you're almost putting Keith Lee in a no-win situation, because we're like, storyline purposes, you'd think Orton has to win this to get some momentum back, to get back in, a championship picture.
Get some momentum back, yeah.
To get any sort of momentum back. Yeah. Keith Lee needs this momentum to just have the audience accept him. So
I agree mostly with that. I think Keith Lee could actually lose, because there's going to be, as much as we talk NXT and we love NXT, we know there's still a large portion of that audience that will watch Raw or SmackDown, have no idea who these NXT people are. Yeah. And so they don't know why Keith Lee's a big deal. Even though he was at the Rumble, that's still a while ago. A lot may not remember that.
No,
so
sure.
If he's able to go toe-to-toe with Orton and still lose, that could still be positive momentum for Keith Lee.
Absolutely. If I think Orton, not that Keith Lee needs to look like $1 million. I think Orton can make him look really good in a loss. And what will probably happen is I'm going to pick Orton wins as my prediction. Why I said it like that, because I'm like, really, I should probably pick Keith Lee wins because Orton snaps. But I think Orton is going to win.
Okay. And kind of get back on track.
And get back on track. And Keith Lee is going to end up looking phenomenal.
And you should keep in mind, McIntyre won with a roll-up.
That's true.
On SummerSlam. So it wasn't finishers ended the match. It was out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a roll-up out of nowhere.
So Orton didn't necessarily lose a lot of momentum for that. I'm going to call Keith Lee just because I hate calling Randy Orton.
I know you do.
Yeah, so I'm going to call Keith Lee.
You should, really.
And maybe that's the thing. Orton's a legend killer, but there's a whole new crop of people coming in that he can't beat anymore. That would be amazing. Yeah, like the new guard. I mean, at some point, the torch has to be passed to some people. Yeah. Not just Orton. I mean, there's a whole, there's a group of them. So, I think Keith Lee's going to win. If not, I don't care. I'm still rooting for Keith Lee. Oh, I'll be rooting for Keith Lee the entire time. Tag team title match, women's tag team title match. Sasha and Bayley, the golden role models, taking on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I am in a match of 1,000,000 heels. The match of 1,000,000 heels. I like that. I'm going to call the heels that are most likely normally friends, the golden role models of Bayley and Sasha. Even though they're kind of on the outs or having hurdles. Yeah, hurdles. They still definitely get along way better than Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Which I also love. People are like, oh my God, Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania. Oh, it's going to happen. Okay, let's say that does happen. That is still 7 months away. Yeah, exactly. You got to kill some time before then. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the breakup's not happening yet. No. And I love there's so much in depth into the Sasha Bayley thing. Like, I didn't realize that Sasha's attire was a tribute to Bayley from their match 5 years earlier in NXT during SummerSlam weekend. And then Bayley didn't reciprocate the same thing. You're like, oh. They are cool. as much crap as Sasha gets on the internet for God knows whatever the reason of the week is. The amount of effort and thought they're putting into this, they want to be the main event at WrestleMania. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying they will be, but I'm like, they're putting the effort in to at least be in the conversation right now. Oh, for sure. And it's going to be hard for them to headline above a Roman Reigns or Goldberg, who gets 2 matches a year now. Or But they're putting that effort in. So nobody's going to have a better story than those guys. Those two right there. And I agree. They retain right there where Shayna and Nia thrown together on Raw this week. What is probably going to happen, I assume, is that
Shayna and Nia.
Tell us.
Obviously, they don't get along. There's a miscommunication. Something happens. This leads to them feuding on a serious level on Raw.
Yeah.
And maybe even heading towards Raw Underground.
Maybe, which does not have anything officially lined up on this show. We did say we would go back to it. Don't know if Brad's still tuned in or not. Probably tuned out long ago after we talked about a boys podcast. But yeah. So when does Raw Underground get pay-per-view? So is there Payback Underground?
It's always after 10 p.m., even if it's on the network.
Yeah.
It's like and some of those pay-per-views don't even go to 10 at this point. So it's like.
It's always before.
And they start earlier now too, I feel.
Yeah, that's always after. It's always teased right before the last commercial break.
Yeah.
Of in my case, it'd be the 8 o'clock hour. Yeah. Yours the 9. So it is curious, but when will they be on pay-per-view? I don't think Payback's going to be it, but when will it get a pay-per-view match? I
don't know. I think it's weird. Like, I'm sure you read the stuff that, everything taped for Raw Underground this week.
Mm-hmm.
90% of it was scrapped. So, like, Shayna Baszler's cohorts, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, all had matches that didn't make the show.
And they were also, like, their alliance teased 2 weeks ago and no follow-up since then.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hoping. I hope the Shayna Baszler Nia Jax thing ends up on Raw Underground, just so we can see some forward momentum on that group. And I think it'd be great.
If I had to guess why, and Brad's mentioned earlier that he doesn't feel that it clicks. He didn't use those words, but I'm paraphrasing him, where he hasn't been a big fan of it or the concept. I wonder if they're waiting for somebody to take ownership of it. As in, like, MVP shows up, Dolph Ziggler's always there. If Ivar or Eric or whoever, like Shayna even, I think they're waiting for a star to take over that segment and make it a thing.
Could be.
And I think that's why it hasn't clicked, because there is no really storyline outside of Viking Raiders and Dolph Ziggler, really. I mean, the Hurt Business shows up, but even then, they don't have a feud on it.
And the match that was teased for Dolph Ziggler and the Viking Raiders was scrapped.
Right.
We didn't even get it on Raw. So.
And Shane's supposed to be like the mastermind behind it, but if Shane takes control of this, then people are going to complain it's just another McMahon hogging the spotlight.
And it's funny for him to have control of it. It's literally him in the ring going, "Who's next? You got this? You got this? Who wants next to this?" And people just stand up and get their asses kicked. Like.
So, I mean, there is potential. I have not given up on it yet, but I don't look forward to the segments, to answer Brad's question about that.
Yeah.
He is still tuned in, says he has a feeling Shane will get involved. Maybe. I think it's quite possible at some point. I think he gets involved when somebody takes something too far and he tries to break it up and he can't break it up.
Yeah,
that becomes really interesting then, when that big behemoth guy that they promoted a couple weeks ago, when he just starts fake blood from somebody, they got the blood packets ready to go. When he just starts pounding on someone and Shane's like, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. And the guy doesn't stop.
Yeah.
What happens in Raw Underground then? That I think would be outstanding.
I want it to be the guy that guards the door.
Right. Yeah. You mean
I want that guy to just lose his crap.
Yeah.
And just beat the tar out of someone.
So I do think there's potential here, especially if, you got like a Ken Shamrock who's like, hey, bring me in. I'll make it, I'll make it happen for you.
I'll make it look real.
You could have some fun with this concept, especially those stars who do like a little bit more of the shoot fight, MMA feel to it.
I just read something about a UFC guy, I forget his name, UFC guy who retired recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this would be an interesting way to bring him in. I don't know if you bring him in as a wrestler, because I guess he's doing analyst stuff for UFC now.
Right.
He could be a host, or he could try to add some legitimacy to it.
It could be a second life for some of these stars that maybe aren't clicking as characters, for whatever reason. But maybe with this new feel or whatever. So I do think that there is a lot of potential in Raw Underground. So I'm not giving up on it yet, but I am waiting for some sort of consistency. And I don't think that's Raw Underground's fault. every show has been radically rewritten recently. And I kind of host a show with the producer who tells me every week, yeah, it was a little last minute again. And thankfully, he's go with the flow. So
Yeah.
he's not complaining. He's go with the flow, but it's got to be frustrating because then somebody will approach him, hey, are these guys ready for their match? And he'll be like, they literally just found out about it.
Yeah.
And so the stars are scrambling themselves to try to figure out what to do and get things ready to go. So it's messy right now. And I don't think it's Raw Underground's fault. I think if there was consistency behind the scenes, then maybe it would be on a better path. I'm not saying it'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think it would be showing some more promise than it has. So hopefully things start winding down here as the year starts wrapping up. Maybe you need to get more crowds back in the. I don't really know what they need to calm down, but
yeah,
maybe once the summer season they realize they can't tour everywhere, maybe things will then get back on track. Brad writing that he'll check it out again, see how they're changing the format. Well, I think you got to change the format from time to time. I mean, like it's the nature of the business. Yeah, any business, really. You can't keep doing the same thing for decades and decades and then expect different results.
I still think it's kind of hilarious that it's always, I mean, obviously they're in the same spot they're recording in the same building every show now. Yeah. But if they were touring and there was always a Raw Underground facility somehow attached to the back room, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It's the worst underground fight club ever.
I want to see somebody get rejected at the door.
Yeah.
And I want to see other people just hang out. And then Shane's like, hey, look at this. We got Ricochet in the house. Ricochet, come on up. And he's like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Nah, you do you, man. You do you.
I'm
so I'm not giving up on it, but I am curious to see when it finally kind of hits the ground running and then when a pay-per-view embraces it. But Lashley seemed like he was going to have some involvement, and he still could moving forward. Lashley challenging Apollo Crews for the U.S. title.
Oh, man. I think this has been great for Apollo, and it's been good for the Hurt business. Obviously, it's getting them on TV.
It's kind of hurting the Hurt business.
Well,
because they ain't winning.
No, they ain't winning.
I keep losing to Apollo Crews. How embarrassing.
Hey, that man is the United States champion.
Yeah, and Apollo's really, he's a good guy. Everybody really likes Apollo. We've had him on Table Talk. So, I like Apollo, but I think the Hurt business needs to get a title that's not the 24/7 championship.
Yeah. Last time we talked, which was last week, MVP was not the guy to win this title. Bobby Lashley is the guy to win this title from Apollo Crews.
Because Lashley would love to be in the world title picture, but that's not happening right now. Maybe he was even in the plans, but then the Orton Orton came out of nowhere again with this Legend Killer thing that took off.
Yep.
So Lashley got to go back down, and with Raw Underground not having consistency, Lashley needs something, and this is that something, I think.
No, I agree with you totally.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's leaving now. All right. So we talk about Raw Underground, then he's leaving. He's like, I'm done. I'm not going to finish the show. Screw you guys.
Right now.
He's like, deuces. Yeah. Cause you guys are shit. He didn't say that. So this one actually is going to be really interesting. WWE Championship, no holds barred, triple threat, which means it doesn't matter. Fiend versus Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. So Fiend just won it.
Yes.
From Braun, cleanly. No Alexa Bliss, which also surprised people after all of her teasing on social and everything.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were just assuming 1 week title reign for Bray, that Roman's getting it. What do you think?
I've made that joke many times in the last couple days. I firmly believe that there's a strong chance Roman gets handed this title back, which would be awful. Let's let the Fiend mess with Roman. Maybe you phase Braun out of it, but let the Fiend have some fun with Roman. Build a reason besides, hey, you're a freak in a mask. Let them do something with it, and let Roman try to, combat the Fiend. Let him, how many stomps did it take Seth Rollins to beat the Fiend? It can't just be a Superman punch. and he's done. You're like, oh wait, you're still trying to rebuild the Fiend from. Hey Kyle, still trying to rebuild the Fiend from Goldberg. Like, then have him destroyed by another guy with a spear. Just
so I will say, if Roman wins, nobody's surprised. Everybody's like, "Oh, Roman."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and finally, she's drawn back into the conversation.
Finally, a use for this emoji.
Wow, look at that! Whoa, she's coming at you with the aggression.
And another emoji.
Yeah, shut up, balls.
Hey, she used the Z. That's better than even people.
That's true. That's true. It's amazing how many people still use an S and make it really awkward.
Right?
Can you imagine if your name was Balls with an S, hosting a podcast for boys?
No.
I'm imagining it right now, and it's horrible. But
you thought the internet was bad before,
right? So if Roman wins, WWE gets right back on track where they want him, most likely.
I was gonna say, on track for who?
For I mean, they lost Roman for a long time. So, and I'm sure he was a strong portion of not just storylines, but the whole WWE on Fox deal.
Oh, I'm sure.
So a Roman win wouldn't surprise me, but I agree. I believe that he's just coming back, and they can really have some fun with him and the Fiend. I think Braun's still in the match to take the fall.
Yes. Yep.
I think Fiend retains, and Roman's not a part of that decision.
That's what I was thinking as well. Fiend wins, Braun's pinned again.
Yeah. And maybe it's even after a spear. Maybe Roman's the one that does the work. Fiend's able to capitalize on it.
Yep.
And then that's where Fiend retains. And maybe Braun does turn heel. He and Roman go back at it, which we've seen a million times. Yeah. Yes, but they are so good together that I would be okay with that, to kind of get also Roman back into the swing of things.
And we don't normally, I don't remember Braun being a super heel during any of the feuds with Roman either. So, you add a little bit of character dimension to Braun, could be a little bit different.
I believe when they had that Falls Count Anywhere match where Braun threw an office chair.
Yes.
Roman, I think Braun was a heel then, technically, but
yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's one of those, I think that happens. Could Retribution play a part in it?
For sure. I mean, Retribution could show up anywhere. Maybe Retribution is what takes out Roman and leaves Braun susceptible to the Fiend. That'd be great. Yeah. Plus, it would really piss people off about Retribution, and good Lord, it would give them something to do besides attacking random people.
And what about Idiot Otis? I like Otis. Don't get me wrong. It's just, as a character, why he wouldn't jump on this last week is beyond me. Will he cash in this week?
If they do,
will he even show up and be like, "Hey guys,
be on the show"? If he cashes in, it's to make him lose. It's just to get the storyline piece out of the way.
Okay.
It's, hey, we really don't know what we had you in this for, so we're just going to kind of get rid of it so that it frees us up to do other storyline things.
That's if he cashes in.
That's if he cashes in. He's not winning.
I don't think he's cashing in this weekend.
Okay.
I don't think he's doing it during Payback. I think maybe they're going to start reminding us now that the Mandy stuff is kind of taken care of. And
that's true.
I think they're going to remind us Otis is going to start carrying it a little bit more often. I don't think this is the time that Roman comes back. The Fiend's on fire. Braun is acting like a monster again. Yeah. I don't think you have Farm Boy come in and uproot everything
and try to caterpillar someone. No.
I don't think you do that right now. So I think maybe there's a backstage segment teasing it, but I think that's it. I don't think we go anywhere. One thing from SummerSlam I want to talk about before we wrap this up, though. One thing that does stand out. Kudos to Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah. Oh, man. Absolutely.
So I don't know if they're leading towards that. Supposedly Rey Mysterio signed on for another 3 years, so he's not going anywhere. And so maybe we get a tag match because they're kind of back on TV doing their thing. So maybe we get the disciple, and then your Messiah, your Monday Night Messiah. You get Seth and Murphy against Ray and Dominic on this pay-per-view. What do you think?
I mean, we pretty much just had that on Raw, but yeah, I could see him.
But with a stipulation.
Ooh.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that was one of the few matches I actually got right on SummerSlam was that Dominic lost to Seth, which I'm fine with. But Dominic looked like $1 million.
He looked great. He really did.
I love that he paid tribute to his real dad, Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
The jacket, the hood was a little off. It was a little messed up at times. He's got to work on that. But the Mysterio family's always had problems with their headgear.
Yes. I like that the hood was an homage to Ray with the gear without being a direct ripoff of Ray. So I liked it. And the chest piece was apparently an homage to Seth Rollins.
Which, by the way, also Seth's gear mocking Rey Mysterio from 1997 was
so good.
Outstanding. I got that figure right there. There. You can't see it. It's just all camera, but it's there.
You could literally be pointing at anything. It would be like, yeah.
It's there. It's right there.
I believe you.
It's right there.
I believe you.
It's 2 rows and 3 figures to the left of Ric Flair, who is right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah. So I could see them getting added to the show somehow, or maybe it's Ray versus Seth again, or Dominic and Buddy this time. Murphy, but I don't know. We're going to definitely get stuff. Before I wrap it up, Aleister Black turning heel. Do we get Aleister Kevin Owens this week or no?
I think so. Do we get it at Payback? I don't know. The pay-per-view already seems very Raw heavy, but they may need to, or they're going to hold off on it. His explanation next week or whatever. And it's just so haphazard. I just think they're doing it because they need someone to face Kevin Owens, and they don't know who to go with. And Ray signed a new deal. So it's not Seth. So they need someone to be a heel against Kevin Owens. And guess what? Aleister Black, who was like cool and mysterious and, waiting for someone to knock on his door. Now he's a random heel against KO.
But we don't know the reasons yet behind it. So I'm not jumping to conclusion like Balls does. He likes Aleister Black. So WWE's just ruined him.
He's dead to me.
He looks like Snake from Metal Underground. That's what he looks like. He's got the little patch over his eye. He's going to hide in a box here soon. I mean, like it's going to be a real life video game. He's going to feud with Xavier Woods when he comes back from injury. Real life video games. Thank you to everybody who did interact with us. Of course, we're going to put the predictions up most likely on our Facebook at Wrestling Audio on Sunday. We'll do that probably Sunday afternoon. So get your picks in by then. The card will probably be expanded.
I would hope so.
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean,
it's a really super quick pay-per-view.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I officially signed up for the email now to see if I can ever get in on the Thunderdome.
Ooh.
So I'll try. I can't for SmackDown because I'll be watching New Mutants at that time. But for Sunday night, if I can get in for Payback, bring it on. Bring it on. Although I got to figure out what I'm going to wear, though.
Have you thought of what terrible attire you're going to wear?
I got a Thanos mask I'm staring at right now. Maybe Thanos will be tuned in on the it would be the Thanos Dome.
As soon as you snap, they remove you from TV.
That's brilliant. The Thanos Dome. And then I just end the show.
Mo is leading